Okay, so coming to a comfy seated position, and if you always have the same leg in front, switching just so your hips have something different going on, or just sitting however feels comfy and allows your spine to get really nice and tall. So just to get going, let's just do a few sort of cow and cat feelings. And I see some cats in people's backgrounds, which is kind of perfect. So inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. It would be very funny if I saw a cow walking through someone's background. So just with your own breath, nice long inhale, you feel your spine kind of reaching forward, shoulders press back. And then exhale, letting those shoulders come forward, back round, head kind of bowing. Good, wonderful. Now let's just have our spine up tall and just do a little bit of circling, just loosening up for the lower spine. Good, and then circling back around the other way. Wonderful. Now getting really, really tall in your spine. Let's do a few inhales, reaching up, keeping your spine long, and then exhale, letting your arms just float down on the side. So with each inhale, maybe try and feel like you're growing a little bit taller. And on your exhale, keep that height in your spine and letting your shoulders and hips just kind of sink downwards. Almost feel like your spine is like the trunk of a really nice, strong, tall tree. And then your arms and your legs, all the other bits and pieces are just sort of very soft, movable branches and leaves. One more time. Letting your hands just come wherever they like. Keeping this length in your spine, maybe putting your hand on your lower belly for a moment. So when you inhale, you feel your diaphragm pulling down, allowing your lower belly to expand. And on the exhale, feeling the lower belly coming back in. So keeping this nice full breath, letting your hands go wherever they like, looking at the floor, closing your eyes, and just really focusing on this nice full inhale, the diaphragm pulling down, filling up your whole lower body. And then that gentle exhale, letting it go. Good. So keeping this nice full breath, again, let's inhale our arms overhead, but this time grabbing a forearm. And we're just gonna very gently kind of like pull that arm so that you just are gently pulsing on the exhale, pulling and feeling like you're stretching out from the very side of the lower back all the way down. So just going gently if you have anything going on anywhere, and just gently feel this nice sort of stretching out of the whole side body and arm. Let's switch sides. So grabbing the other arm and just gently pulling it out, keeping that hip rooted. And if this doesn't feel good to your body, don't do it. This is also an option, or this, or this. So whatever is going to feel good. Wonderful. Letting your arms just reach up. Big inhale and slowly letting them come down. Now let's just shake out our wrists a little bit. Playing piano with our fingers. Doing some wrist circles, just waking up our wrists before we put pressure on them. Good. And now when you're ready, let's come onto our hands and knees if that's okay. And let's start with some just pressing back, kind of into a part child's pose. And then inhale, coming back up onto your knees. So it's this feeling of exhale, pushing back, getting a stretch through your back and arms. Inhale, coming back up. Just going with what feels good for your own spine. Your exhale, you're pressing back. Inhale, coming back up onto your hands and knees. Wonderful. Now we're going to stretch out the legs a bit. So extending one leg behind you. Inhale, coming onto your toes. Exhale, pressing back. If you don't want to be on your hands and knees, you could be sitting on your seat and just extending one leg and then the other in front of you. That feels better. So as we do this, starting to engage your stomach muscles, feeling them pulling in. Now while we're here, let's lift that back leg up off the ground so you feel that nice stretch in the back of your leg. Your foot is flexed and you feel your spine long, your head reaching, and really engaging your stomach muscles. So especially on the exhale, feel like you're squeezing in your stomach muscles. Trying to generate some heat. Good. Now that extended leg, have it come across your body, finding a place to come down on the floor, then looking over your opposite shoulder towards that foot. So you're getting a nice big side bend.
Hello. Come here. Hey.
Good. Inhale, coming back through center. Putting your knees down and just letting your hips sway side to side. Or just doing whatever feels good. Wonderful. So engaging your stomach muscles, we're going to extend out now the other leg. You've got your foot flexed, your spine long, looking down at the floor, engaging your stomach muscles. Breathing deep, especially on the exhale. Feel those stomach muscles pulling in. Good. Now putting that foot back down to the floor because I forgot to do this thing. The inhale coming up onto your toes, exhale, pressing back into your calf. So strong stomach muscles just going back and forth, stretching out your hamstrings and your calves. Good. So now let's lift that leg again because I forgot that first part. So we're going to do this all over again. Stomach engaged. Really engaging the core, the foot lengthened out behind. We're just going to be here for a few more breaths. Really feeling the stomach pulling in on the exhale. Wonderful. Then having that foot come across the body, toes coming down to the floor. And looking over your opposite shoulder towards that foot, getting a big stretch in your side body. Good. Wonderful. Inhaling everything back through center. Let's come into child's pose. Knees coming apart, feet coming together. Your version of child's pose, just lengthening out everything. Letting your hips open up and just giving your wrists a bit of a break. So just focusing on your breath and letting things relax, whichever part of your body that needed a little break, give it a break now. Good, wonderful. Coming back up onto your hands and knees. We're going to again engage those stomach muscles. And our first option is again stretching out one leg behind you. This is your inhale, strong stomach as you exhale, drawing that knee inwards. Keeping your spine long. So inhale to go out. Exhale, drawing that knee in. So this is one option, or do something else if this doesn't feel good on a body part. The next option is coming into plank. If your body feels like doing that today. So this is your inhale, then on the exhale, bending your knees, pressing back into a bent-legged downward dog. Then inhale, straightening out your legs, strong core, coming to plank, really pressing your feet into the floor, feeling your quads and stomach engaged. Exhale, bending your knees, reaching your hips back. So your choice, doing what feels good to you today. Just really listening. If you've got shoulder issues, the plank going back to downward dog probably isn't a good idea. So whichever version you're doing, just breathing deep, listening to your body. We want some exertion, some heat, but we don't want pain or upsetting anything. Good, wonderful. If you're the people doing planks, come into your plank again. Just holding it, feeling a lot of engagement in your whole body. Breathing deep. Good, let's hold it for a moment or two longer and then come back onto your knees. And let's just come and do a little child's pose for a moment, just resting, stretching everything out, shaking out our hands. Wonderful. Coming back up onto our hands and knees, and let's just do one more downward dog. So rounding your toes, pressing back into your downward dog, starting with your knees bent. Just trying to get that long stretch down your back, down your arms. Just bicycling out your legs a little bit, so you're straightening one knee and then the other. Then bending both knees deeply, long spine, and then trying to lengthen out both of your legs. So straightening your knees if that feels okay. Good. Wonderful. So let's walk our feet up towards our hands until you come into a forward fold, shaking out your shoulders, shaking out your head, letting your arms dangle if that feels good. And then slowly we're going to roll up your spines, coming up to standing, please. Good, wonderful. So once we get to standing, let's just let our hips go side to side, getting a stretch through the side body. Good. Now we're going to start inhaling, reaching our arms up, bringing our palms together. And as you drop your hands behind your head, you're going to arch your back a little bit, looking up, and then slowly bringing your hands to heart center, shoulders pressed down. So inhale, reaching up, exhale, get a back bend, and then drawing your hands heart center. So with your own breath, reaching up, getting that tricep stretch. Good. One more time. Good. Keeping your hands at heart center, gently pressing your palms together so you feel your chest waking up. Let's have your legs just sort of shifting weight from side to side. So strong stomach muscles. Balancing on one foot and then the other. Good. So I'm going to reach my arms out because that helps me balance. And we're going to bring one foot up to your calf, coming into tree pose, staring at something. So hopefully it helps you balance. And then if you're finding that easy, let's start moving your arms around in whatever way feels good. Just trying to make it harder on yourself. Keeping your core engaged. Good, wonderful. And then putting that foot back down, shaking out your arms, and then let's shift our weight onto the other side, getting your foot on your calf, strong stomach muscles, and then seeing what you can do with your arms just to kind of throw yourself off, making it a bit harder. Staring at something that's not going to move. Good, wonderful. Shaking everything out, letting your hips go side to side. So we're going to now get into our inner thighs a bit more. So what we're going to do, sorry, that's not a good angle, is we've got our toes and our knees in line with each other. So they're sort of going out to either side, depending on the I just don't want your toes going one way and your knees going another way. So your kneecaps and your toes are going the same way. Let's put our hands on the hips and see what it feels like bending your knees. And again, have a little peek that your knees and your toes are going the same way. Trying to maybe walk out your feet so that your knees are more or less over your ankles. Good. So we're going to inhale, coming up. Exhale, bending in, strong stomach muscles. So just listen to your body, see what it has to say about this. If your knees don't like it, just don't do it. Good. So let's add in our arms. So as we bend our knees, we bend in our elbows, nice proud chest. Inhale, reaching up. So exhale, we're bending our elbows in. And feel like you're sort of trying to press the floor away with your feet in either direction, like you're pressing outward. Good, wonderful. So keep doing this if this feels good. If you want a little bit more excitement in your day, stay deep in it, but only if this feels good. And then you can experiment with pressing one foot up and then pressing it slowly down. Just really pressing your toes into the floor so your ankle doesn't go wibbly wobbly. And only do what feels good. So I don't want your ankles, going out to either side. Good, just a bit more, doing whatever works for your own body. Woo, good. And then coming out of it, let's have our feet come together. Having your feet more in line with your hips, and let's inhale our arms overhead, grabbing our hands, and then bending to the side. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bending the other way. Good. A few more of these. Good. Inhale, reaching up, exhale. Let's bring our hands to our hips and just doing some hip circles. I feel like that's probably welcomed after that. Careful, and then back around the other way. All right, so we're going to do some more leg excitement. So really strong core. Inhale, you're standing nice and tall. Exhale, you're sitting back on your chair, having your stomach muscles really engaged. Inhale, coming up. So your hips are heading backwards like you're about to sit on the chair. Your chest is balanced forward. And then you change your mind and stand up. So with your own breath, exhale, coming down. And I don't want you, don't come straight down, having the hips going backwards. Inhale, coming up. So keep going with your own time while I take a break and look at you. Good. So this shouldn't hurt your knees. So really it's the feeling of the hips going backwards and sticking out your tuchus. Good. Breathing deep, a few more. Good. Last one. Standing up tall, maybe letting your hips go side to side. Good. So we're going to come down onto the floor, please. I'm going to do a little stretch that I think will feel nice after that, and then some core. So I think the stretch that I'd want to do after that is the one where you're crossing over one leg and then gently pulling in. So just sort of stretching the outside of the leg, maybe rocking side to side if that feels good. And just breathing deep. Good, and then switching legs. Same thing on the other side, just finding a way to stretch out the outside of that leg. Good, wonderful. So untangling that leg for a moment or two, just letting your knees drop from side to side, windshield wipers. And then we're gonna lengthen out our legs, stretching our arms overhead, letting your back arch, so your whole front body is getting a big stretch out, maybe pointing your toes, wiggling your fingers, and see what it feels like to flex your feet. Good. Then we're gonna walk up our feet with our knees on the floor. So our hips are rooted to the floor, maybe trying to walk our shoulders a little bit further away from our hips so our spine is nice and long. So our hips and our shoulders are rooted to the ground, but your lower back is kind of just in its happy, mellow place. It's not getting squished into the floor. So allowing that little arch to stay in your back. We're gonna feel our pelvic floor pulling upwards, our stomach muscles pulling in, the sides of our stomach muscles kind of folding in like you've got a belt, and it's your hip bones are kind of trying to fold towards one another. If you don't have any shoulder stuff going on, hands, palms facing in, squeezing your underarms together. So you feel your whole side body and your underarms becoming engaged. Good. So if this feels like enough, staying here. If you want to add to it, inhale. And as you exhale, lifting your shoulders up a little bit. And then inhale back down. So you're feeling those stomach muscles drawing you up. Inhale, coming back down. Listening to your body. And really powerfully exhaling on your way up. Taking breaks for your neck if your neck is getting upset. Shoulders coming back down, keeping the engagement everywhere. Now let's exhale, one knee in, inhale, putting the foot down. So same leg. If you want to try on the inhale, you can lengthen that leg out, and then exhale, draw it in. Just don't smush your lower back into the floor. So your choice. If you want to add a little bit more, you can also draw your shoulders up as the knee comes in. Just make sure you're not smushing the lower back into the floor. Good, putting that foot back down. Let's do all that with the other leg, core really engaged. So first option is the knee coming in on the exhale, inhale, putting it back on the floor. The other option is lengthening the leg out, and then exhale, drawing the knee in. Always having the core do that kind of pulling in feeling. And the last option is as the knee comes in, the head comes up, just not rounding out the lower back. So keeping going, whichever version you're doing. Good, wonderful. We're going to come out of that, letting your arms just go where they like. We're going to bring our feet further apart, so further apart than normal. And we're going to do the knees dropping to one side and then the other. But as your knees drop to one side, the back leg, I really want you to feel like you're pressing that hip forward. So you're getting a stretch right through the front of the hip, right into your stomach muscles. So it's like you're pressing that hip forward to get a big stretch. Kind of trying to, we kept folding in the knee, so we're trying to get that folded in area stretched out. Good, wonderful. Bringing your knees together. And speaking of folding in, we're going to fold in our knees for a moment. Now you can let your lower back just relax if you like. And let's just roll from side to side, getting the whole back body rolled out. Wonderful. Now we're going to put our feet onto the floor in line with our hips, and maybe walking in your heels a little bit closer. And then try and walk your shoulders away. So you're getting a nice long spine. We're bringing our hands down alongside our hips, palms facing down. So let's try and feel the pelvic floor pulling up again, the core pulling in. So we're getting that really strong core feeling. Our lower back isn't squished into the floor. So this is what we're doing here. And then we're going to engage our glutes and pressing the pelvis upwards. And then keeping the core strong, slowly lowering down to the floor with resistance. Good. So your core is hanging on as you go down. As you come up, you're really engaging your glutes. So I feel like exhaling on the way down and then inhaling on the way up. So you're really pressing into your heels, your glutes are engaged, your quads are powerful. And on the way down, really strong through the core, so we're not just flopping down. So keep going. Trying to go as slow and controlled as you can. Good, wonderful. And then coming back on down to the floor. So let's just hold on to our elbows if that feels okay, and just gently have our arms going side to side if this is an okay movement. And then taking those arms maybe in a bit of a circle. Back around the other way. Good. So if it feels okay, you want to use your arms for this, bringing your hands behind your head and these core muscles right under your ribs, feeling them getting really engaged. Our hips and shoulders are on the floor, but our lower back isn't getting smushed. So this is our inhale. And then as you exhale, just drawing your opposite shoulder to opposite knee. You don't have to go far to really feel it in your stomach. Then slowly inhale coming down. Then exhale, twisting the other way. Inhale coming down. So it's just this nice small movement right through your core. And the more you kind of engage and squeeze in those stomach muscles and slow it down and try and make it really controlled so you're not using gravity, the better. So going at your own pace. And maybe on the exhale while you're twisting, try and pull in your pelvic floor too. So it's just this whole kind of drawing inward feeling through your whole core. And if you want to be drawing in opposite knee, go for it. Just making sure that lower back isn't getting smushed into the floor. Good, so nice deep breath. Just a few more. Good, and relaxing, letting your arms flop open to either side, shaking out your shoulders, maybe letting your head flop side to side. And then picking up your hips and sort of taking them slightly to the left, let your knees fall to the right, coming into a twist. So this should feel nice, feeling the nice big inhale. On the exhale, just let everything release downwards. We're done with the fiery, muscly stuff, so let's just let things get kind of muddy, just kind of letting everything kind of slurp down to the floor. Nice full inhales, nice slow exhales, letting things release down. Bringing your knees back through center, getting your spine long in some way. So maybe hugging in your knees, maybe full body stretch, just getting your spine untwisted. Then when you're ready, taking your hips slightly to the right to let your knees fall to the left, arms opening up. Just feel that nice long twisty stretch, trying to connect as many different parts of your body as possible. Just settling in, letting things relax. Slowly bringing your legs back through center. Trying to get your spine untwisted, maybe hugging in your knees. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to make our way into Shavasana, the resting pose. So doing whatever little movements you want to do before you come into stillness. With your legs just lengthened out, your arms flopping open, however feels comfy. Just breathing deep, noticing what it feels like just to breathe. Just bringing all your attention to that feeling. The only thing moving through you is your breath. Just noticing what that feels like. If you have time in your day to stay here, please do. I'll end the session for you. You can stay here as long as you want. I'll do the button pushing. Or if you need to get on with your day, bending in your knees a bit, rolling onto your side, and in your own time, coming up to a comfy seated position. So wherever you are, just noticing your breath again. Just closing your eyes, taking a moment to remember some helpful thought, something that always is good to remember in your own mind. And namaste. Thank you, guys. It was great to see you. I'm just stopping the recording.